Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new month filled with fresh new opportunities, exciting challenges, and endless possibilities. I'm so excited to welcome you to the first edition of the new month. Happy new month to everyone. And of course, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on whichever part of the world you are tuning in from. My own name is Sharif Daramola, and I welcome you to the first edition of the Forex Morning Mastery for the month of October, as we are going to be taking another fresh new look at the financial market as we prepare for both the London and the New York session today. Well, in anticipation of today's trading sessions, I have conducted a comprehensive price action analysis on all of the assets that I am proposing for this week. And for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you definitely would have gotten an update as regards to how we are going to be managing and doing follow-ups on the assets that I published during the course of the weekend. Now, for this week, we have three major assets we are going to be looking at. The first one is going to be the XAUUSD, which is popularly known as the gold spot. And of course, we have the GBPUSD. Remember, we didn't do anything on the GBPUSD last week due to the lack of convincing setup that we can use. So I had to wait, and it appears we're beginning to see some traction that can give us some tangible opportunities for this week. Then I would like to include the USOILSPOT, which I didn't publish during the course of the weekend, but I will be doing a top-down analysis on that asset this morning. So we have three financial assets we are going to be looking at today. Now, for those who are joining me for the first time, you are highly welcome on board, and I'm very glad to have you around. Now, what we simply do here is we are technical traders, and we gather here on a daily basis in anticipation of both the London and the New York session, where we come to review our existing position if we have any, manage the situation on hand, and while we do this, strategically position ourselves ahead of both the London and the New York session. So we do this on a daily basis. 8:05 a.m. UTC, 9:05 a.m. West African time. And in fact, I encourage you to stay tuned in so you don't miss out on any of these insightful ideas that we will be talking about today. And of course, I also encourage you to be part of the subsequent editions, as the more time you spend with us here, the better you get in understanding how this works, and eventually be able to use the information you gather here to make your own independent trading decisions. So once again, you are highly welcome on board. Now, with that being said here, we shall be diving right into the business. And first of all, I would like to emphasize here that whatever we do here is simply a follow-up detail to the videos I shared during the course of the weekend. So like I used to do during the course of the weekend, I normally have a handful of assets which I want to be including in my watch list, and I do share them publicly on my social platforms, the TradingView, the Telegram, and of course here on the YouTube channel. So this is what we do here is simply a follow-up detail to that video. So I want to be going into the details on the higher time frame. So what we are going to be focusing here is simply the 1 hour time frame. So for you to have a background knowledge of what we are doing here or how we got to this level on the 1 hour time frame, then I will encourage you to watch my previous videos on all of these assets, and the link are situated right in the description box of this current video, so you can check them out after the live session. So with that being said here, the first thing we are going to be doing this morning, as usual, is to check on the economic calendar. And for those who have been with me for a while now, you know how important it is for us to do a routine check on what majority in the market will be looking forward to. And of course, we know that these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and specific technical patterns on the chart, hereby giving us valuable information that can make us position ourselves strategically in such a way that we can capitalize on any potential move prior, during, and even after this event. Now, on the economic calendar, based on the assets we are going to be monitoring for this week, we are going to be taking into consideration high impact event from the United States and the United Kingdom's economy. Now, for today, Monday, October 2nd, we have a couple of high impact events. One is coming in from the United States, and that is the ISM manufacturing PMI. And for those who don't know what the ISM manufacturing PMI is, well, this is a manufacturing PMI assesses the manufacturing sector health based on various indicators, and it also reflects the economic expansion or contraction in that sector. And of course, a higher reading is considered as positive for the US dollar, while a low reading is considered as negative. Now, if we look at the previous data here, it came in at 47.6, that is for the month of August, and we have economists projecting a 47.7 for the month of September. So there is an expectation that there was a little bit of expansion there. So we are going to be looking forward to what the actual data is going to be like. Then later on today, we have the Fed's chairman is going to be having a speech later today, and that's in about 6-7 hours from now. And whatever he says here has a considerable influence over the financial market. His remarks provide insight into the central bank's outlook on the economy, potential policy shifts, and interest rate changes, hereby impacting in trading decisions and market sentiment. Now, with this information we have here on the economic calendar, by now we know that the anticipation of this event alone has an influence in moving price action. And of course, as technical traders, what we are going to be doing here this morning is to sniff through the current market structure, looking out for structures and patterns that we can use to position ourselves strategically ahead of this event. Now, with the information we have here, let's go right into the structures to look at things from a technical standpoint. Now, the first asset we are going to be looking at this morning is going to be the USOILSPOT. Sorry, excuse me on that one. So it's going to be the USOILSPOT. And on the USOILSPOT, I did not share an update during the course of the weekend on this one. So I will take you through my analysis from the higher time frame and how I got to this point so that you can have a background knowledge of what is really going on in this market. Now, scaling up into the higher time frame, what I did on the USOILSPOT chart was to take into consideration the nature of price action since the month of August, I think. And it is quite obvious that price action has been on a strong bullish momentum. And to further emphasize the strength of the buyers in this market, you will see I was able to connect the series of higher lows here, giving us a beautiful ascending trend line to work with. Now, not until at the beginning of the month of September that we saw a deviation from that major ascending trend line. As you will see, we had a new one here throughout the course of the month of September to further emphasize how strong the buyers are in this particular market. And you all know how we do it in this community. Whenever we have an ascending trend line like this, we want to hold on to a bullish buyers continue to look out for patterns and structures that support the idea of buying. And not unless price breaks down that trend line can we start considering any selling opportunity at this point. Now, if we zoom into the current structure and taking into consideration the nature of price action, you will see that price during the course of last week trading session closed exactly around that ascending trend line. Now, the question going into the new week is, will price action respect the ascending trend line just like it has been doing in the past to incite an uptrend scenario? Or are we going to be having a breakdown retest of that ascending trend line, probably back into the major ascending trend line to incite an uptrend scenario? That is one scenario. Or probably back into the $88 level to incite another wave of bullish momentum. Now, with the information we have gathered so far here, it is quite clear that we are at a crucial moment in the market where price action is currently oscillating just right above that ascending trend line. Now, to further make things a little bit easier for us to position ourselves strategically for the next move, I was able to identify a key level which is duly situated along the $90 level, which happens to be a strong psychological area considering the round figure of that price. Now, if you look at the structure closely, you will see that since the mid-month of September, this zone around the $90 area had played a major role in determining the direction of price action. Now, let's look at this together. In the month of September, that is during the mid-month, we saw how the zone here was serving as a buy niche at some point. It was serving as a buy niche here. Then we saw the breakdown of structure. It continued to serve as a selling niche for participants in this market, as you will see right here, before we finally saw the breakout of the structure right here last week's trading session. And from a technical standpoint, when price breaks out of a key structure like this, we expect that at some point in time price may come back, retest that structure to incite an uptrend scenario. Now, with the information we have here, you would agree with me that the $90 area, $90 level will be serving as our yardstick for trading activities for this week. And what this simply means here is that if price remains above that key level at the $90 mark, we shall continue to look out for patterns and structures that support the idea of buying. But if price breaks down that key level, then we want to be looking out for patterns that will support the idea of selling this asset. Now, to further understand what is going on here, we will be scaling down into the lower time frame so that we can see how participants in this market has been reacting to this level since the beginning of this week. And one thing we should also take note of here is that if price breaks down the $90 level, it will have also broken down that ascending trend line which has been supporting this bullish momentum in the last 1 month. So if price breaks down that structure, then I'm of the opinion that we might be in for a bearish move. Now let's scale down into the 1 hour time frame so that we can see how participant in the market has been reacting to that key level. Now scaling down into the 1 hour time frame. So this morning, while I was trying to dissect this current structure with the hopes of identifying a potential direction in price action, this is what I was able to come up with. So this is the key level here, still duly situated around the $90 area, and as you will see, price has been oscillating right around that key level to further emphasize the crucial movement we are in right now. And one interesting thing that happened this morning is that the week has started on the bullish note. As you will see, price started at around the $89.80 level, which will be our first support line for the week. As you will see, buy pressure resumes around that area. Then the highest point price action has been is the $90.40 level, giving us a flat channel to work with. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours in this market, price action has been confined within the $90.40 level and the $89.80 level, which further emphasizes the level of indecision at this point in time. And of course, you know how we do it in this community, especially when price is trapped within a range like this. We have no other choice than to exercise patience, waiting for a signal to come, either in the form of the breakout, retest of that resistant line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown, retest of the support line at the $89.80 level to give us an opportunity to sell. And one thing I would like to state here is the fact that this $89.80 level runs right exactly across that ascending trend line we spotted on the higher time frame. Now, if at any point in time today price breaks down the $89.80 level, I will need some confirmations like a retest of structure. It could be the retest of the ascending trend line, the $90 area, but most importantly, what we want to be seeing here is a sign that buyers are finding it difficult to climb above and stay above the $90 area. And this, of course, would reflect on the chart as continued selling pressure on our lower time frame, say the 10, 5, or 15 minutes time frame, giving us a beautiful confirmation to join the downtrend move. So for today's trading session on the US oil spot, we are not considering selling unless the breakdown of that support line and that ascending trend line happens today. So that is how we are going to be selling the US oil spot. However, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities here, you know how we do it in this community. We also want to take into consideration the potentials of the buyers too. Now, like I showed you on the higher time frame, price has consistently found higher highs and higher lows in this market in the last couple of months, and this for us is a sign that buyers are still very, very strong in this market. So we cannot ignore the potentials of buyers too at this juncture in the market. Now, as a result of this, how do we intend to capitalize on any potential move to the upside on this one? Now, remember I told us all that if price remains above our key level at the $90 area, we will be looking out for patterns and structures to guide that bullish momentum. And also remember that we had an ascending trend line, which I identified on the 4 hours time frame, and I think we can still see a tip of the ascending trend line right here. And as long as price remains above this ascending trend line, we shall continue to look out for patterns and structures that support the idea of buying. Now, for me personally, to buy at this juncture, I would like to see price take out this resistant line here, a level which had been a barrier for buyers since the beginning of this week. Now, a breakout retest of the $90.40 level will be all we need to capitalize on an uptrend move. Now, one thing about this structure is this: if a breakout of this level happens, there are still chances that price could still come back into the $90 area to retest it and inside that uptrend continuation. So if we are going to be buying above the $90.40 level, we do want to have our stop loss wide enough, capturing right below that key level at the $90 area, which will be dovetailing to about 45 to 50 pips thereabout on this one. So our center of focus for today is simply between the $90.40, hold on a second. So our center of focus for today is simply between the $90.40 and the $89.80 area, where depending on how price breaks out or breakdown of the structure will be giving us an insight into the direction, the potential direction of price action for today. So you do want to be marking out those levels on your chart, as we will be needing them as a reference point to guide our independent trading decisions on the US oil spot today. So I don't know if you have any questions. These are my views on the US All Spot today. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, or you need any clarification. Feel free to let me know in the comment section, and you can as well use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. All right. So, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here, and all I've said so far has been quite comprehensive enough for us to act on during the New York and London session today. So, in that regard, we shall be moving right in to the next financial asset on our watch list for today. So the next asset on our watch list for today is the GBPUSD, and that is the cable market. And in fact, we are beginning to see an interesting setup gradually unfold before our eyes. And first and foremost here, let me remind you all that our center of focus is going to be on the 1 hour time frame. And in fact, I shared a publication on the GBP USD. I did a top-down analysis on this asset during the course of the weekend, which I shared on all my platforms, on the TradingView, Telegram, and of course right on the YouTube channel right here. The link is right in the description box below. If you had missed out on that video, you can check that video out after the live session, so you can have a background knowledge of how I got to this point, how I was able to identify our key levels on this chart to guide our trading decisions for this week. And one more thing about that video is that it can also serve as an educational tool in understanding how to use price action to identify potential trading opportunities. So you do want to be checking out that video. Just right click on it right now and open in the new tab so that you can check it out after the live session. So let's go into the chart right here. And for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you definitely would have gotten an update this morning on how I said we are going to be getting ready to capitalize on a potential move this morning. Now let's run through what my commentaries had this morning on the GBP USD. So let's see what I said here this morning. So I'll try to load this up. While this loads up, give me a moment. Okay. So this is what I said here this morning as regards to this current market structure. So I said here that since the early hours of today, sellers have encountered significant resistance around the 1.21800 zone, showcasing the notable strength of the buyers in this area. As a result, the current market sentiment appeared to be decidedly bullish. We are closely monitoring the situation, and our inclination towards selling the pound this morning will only be triggered if the price action manages to convincingly break down, retest the 1.21760 level. Now let's go right back into the live chat to look at things from a technical standpoint. So in my video on the GBP USD during the course of the weekend, I acknowledged that price action has been bearish in the last couple of months on the GBP USD, and I was able to identify a key level around the 1.22 600 area, as you will see right here. And since price broke down this key level during the course of last week's trading session, we saw that price action had remained below that level, which further emphasized the strength of the sellers in this particular market. And coupled with the lower highs we have been noticing, giving us this descending trend line, it is quite clear that sellers are still in charge in this particular market. However, something interesting happened during the second half of last week. As you will see here, we saw the lowest point that price action has been in the last couple of months, which is situated around the 1.2100 area. And of course, I did identify this in my video on the GBPUSD. And we saw here that following this low, price is yet to break down that previous low. So now, despite the lower highs we have noticed in this market, the inability of price action to find a lower low is a cause for concern. As you all know that whenever price action begins to find higher lows in the market structure, it is a sign that buyers are gradually gaining momentum behind the scenes. Now, with this observation here, what I did at this juncture was to zoom right into this current structure, as you will see right here, as we have seen how that area between the 1.21800 level and the 1.21760 had played a major role in determining buying opportunities in this market throughout the second half of last week. Now, the inability of sellers to break through the structure for me is a sign that sellers might be losing that momentum at some point. Now, with the scenario here, the chances that price will break out of that descending trend line for the first time will incite a strong bullish momentum, where the further breakout of the key level at the 1.226 will welcome more buying opportunities. Now, if price does break out of this descending trend line, it will be a clear sign that the trend line may no longer have the capacity to continue to negate the bullish attempt. Now, if we look at what has been going on since the early hours of today, that is since the beginning of this week, you will see how price has been confined within a range between the 1.220800 level and the 1.21760. Now, for me to consider buying here, for me to have a confirmation that we do want to be buying the GBPUSD today, I would want to see price break out of that resistance line. And if you look at what had been happening here in the last couple of hours, it appears we already have a breakout of that structure, and a confirmation is needed here, like a retest of structure to incite an uptrend move. Now, since price has broken out of that structure, let's consider this bearish momentum that followed this engulfing candle to be a retracement of that move. And as a result of this, we can afford to place a buy stop order above the 1.22080 area, where our stop losses will be somewhere around the support line here, which will be dovetailing to between 25 to 30 pips on this position. So on the GBPUSD today, we are looking out for buying opportunities only if price action breaks out of the 1.22080 level. And of course, trust me, I will be with you in the comment section if I begin to see more opportunities to maximize that potential move. However, in as much as we're looking out for buying opportunity, well, for me at this point in time, I'm holding on to a bullish bias because of this engulfing bullish candle and the fact that sellers have been struggling to break down this 1.21800 area since last week, Wednesday. That is why I'm holding on to a bullish bias here. However, if price action at any point in time today breaks down the support line, then we have no other choice than to get ready to sell. But we are not jumping in right away, as we will need some confirmations to happen, as a breakdown of the support line at this juncture could still turn out to be a false breakdown. Now, if we need a beautiful confirmation here, we want to see price break down the structure, retest, giving us confirmations that buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above that support line at the 1.218, then we can join the bearish move to the downside. So this is what we are going to be looking out for to sell the GBPUSD for today. So our center of focus for today's trading session on the GBPUSD is simply between the 1.22080 and the 1.21760, where we shall be looking for a breakout or breakdown of this range to give us an opportunity to trade. So you do want to be marking out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing it as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions for today. So I don't know if you have any questions whatsoever as regards my explanation. If you do have, please feel free to let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move right into the next and the last financial asset on our watch list for today. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here, and let's see how the market will play out from here. Then there is one more thing I didn't mention as regards to the fundamental factors in this particular market here. Remember that we are looking forward to an high impact event later today. We have the ISM manufacturing PMI, and of course the first chairman is going to be speaking. And whenever we have this kind of high impact event, we normally see the anticipation reflect on the chart. And I think we're beginning to see that due to this consolidation phase we have here. Then also remember that we had the GDP data from the United Kingdom published last week Friday, which was actually a positive one, as we saw an expansion of about was it not 0.2% or 2%? I'm not very sure, but there was an expansion in the United Kingdom economy, and I'm of the opinion that this might likely be inciting some buying potentials in this market. But let's see how this price will play out around the structure, and of course we shall be making a decision of that revelation on this chart. So with that being said here, let's move right into the next and last financial asset for today. So the last asset we are going to be looking at today is my favorite, and that is the XAUUSD. Well, once again, let me mention here that I already done a publication on the XAUUSD during the course of the weekend. I've done a top-down analysis on that asset, so I implore you to watch that video to have a background knowledge of how we got to this point. Now, this morning, while I was trying to dissect the current market structure, this was what I was able to identify on this chart. Now, remember that on the 4 hours time frame, we spotted a descending channel. For the sake of clarity here, let me run through that situation on the 4 hours time frame here on the XAUUSD. Now, on the XAUUSD, this is what I saw on the 4 hours time frame after taking into consideration the nature of price action since the month of July. And of course, you will see here that price action has been bearish, hereby transitioning into what looks like a descending channel after connecting the series of lower highs, as you will see here, and of course connecting the series of lower lows, as you will see at this point. Now, our center of focus for this week is around that support line here, which interestingly shares a confluence with that 1,847, which happened to be the lowest point for last week's trading session. And you will see what happened here. Normally, when price comes into the support line of a descending channel, we expect that buying pressure should resume to respect that structure back into probably the resistance line. But if price breaks down the support line, then chances are that sellers will be taking over this market. Now, to really understand what is going on here, what I did was to scale down into the 1 hour time frame so that we can see how participants in this market are reacting to this 1,847 zone, which interestingly shares a beautiful confluence with the support line of that descending channel. Now, if we scale down into the 1 hour time frame, this is what I was able to come up with this morning. And for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you definitely have gotten this update, and this is what I saw here. Now, if you look at what has been going on since this week started, you will see that price action has started on a strong bearish note. As you will see, price started at around the $1,848.50 level, and since then price has been dropping, finding lower lows and lower highs in that regard. Now we have a range that we can use to guide our trading decisions today. As you will see, presently price is caught or confined within the $1,848.50 level and the $1,839.50 area to emphasize the level of indecision at this point in time. And of course, you know how we do it in this community. Whenever price action falls into this kind of range, we want to exercise patience, waiting for either the breakout or breakdown of this range to give us an opportunity to trade. Now, with the way things are going right now, remember that last week we enjoyed a phenomenal bearish momentum as we were able to scoop in over 2,000 pips in profit as we had multiple entries on the sell positions. Now, from the look of things and considering what happened last week, it is quite reasonable that we continue to look out for selling opportunities as long as price still remains within this bearish situation. And another thing here is the fact that price did break down that support line of that descending channel we identified earlier on the 4 hours time frame. As you will see, we had the breakdown of the support line here. Then we also had a retest of structure. As you will see, buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above that support line there. And this further emphasized the strength of the sellers. So I will be looking forward to selling opportunities right below the support line here at the $1,839.50 level to join this bearish move to the downside. So let's see how the market will play out from here. So we continue to hold on to a bearish bias on the XAUUSD as we look out for selling opportunities below that support line. Now, should it happen that sellers were taken out of those positions and buyers begin to resurface in this market, the only condition that will make us consider buying at this point in time is for price to climb back above that support line of that descending channel, breaking out the resistance line of this range at the $1,848.50 level for us to start considering buying this asset. So we will need a breakout of structure, retest for any reversal setup to mature at this point in time. So right now we hold on to a bearish bias, but the only condition that will make us buy this asset today is for price breaking out of that resistance line. So let's see how the market will play out going forward. Trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platforms to give you updates on what I think will happen at every point we have a significant structure broken. Now, remember, we shall be resuming our XAUUSD live window much more later today. That's about 5 to 10 minutes into the New York session. And for those who don't know, the XAUUSD live window was a platform that was born out of the flair to monitor the XAUUSD chart real time right here on the YouTube channel. So you do want to be part of that session. So I already have the link. It's somewhere on my channel, but if I can get it before the end of this session, I will be dropping it in the comment section. So you want to click on that link, click on the notify me button so that when I come online, you will get notified accordingly. So I hope to see you in the XAUUSD live window as we come here to follow up with the XAUUSD real-time live action on this platform. So that is that on this one. If you have any questions as regards to this current setup, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So before I round off today, I will just take some 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions, and you can as well use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. All right, everyone, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. It has been a wonderful moment with you here this morning as we went ahead to look at the three major assets on our watch list for this week, which includes the USOILSPOT, the GBPUSD, and of course the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And on all of these assets, we were able to identify simple setups that we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions today, using only simple parameters such as trend lines, key levels, and chart patterns to give us an insight into this market, hereby giving us valuable information to position ourselves for today. Now, I already dropped the link to the XAUUSD live window right in the comment section. Please click on the link, click on the notify me button so that you can get notified as soon as we come online. And in fact, I look forward to seeing you guys right in the comment section, and let's make that session a lively one. Well, on this note, I want to wish you all the best of luck today. It has been a wonderful moment with you guys this morning. And for those who joined us for the first time this morning, I do hope you are able to gain one or two things from what we discussed here this morning. And in fact, I encourage you to stay tuned in and be part of our subsequent editions, as the more time you spend with us, the better you get in understanding how things works here, and eventually be able to use the information you have gathered here to make your own independent trading decisions. So once again, I welcome you guys on board. And it's on this note I wish you all the best of luck today. Please don't forget to support this project. For those who have supported so far, thank you very much. And for those who haven't, your thumbs ups are very appreciated. I would really appreciate your support by giving the video a thumbs up. Your likes are very valuable to me, and in fact, it also helps the algorithm to promote the video to a wider audience of traders who may find this content beneficial to them too. Thank you very much as you do so, as this is the only cheapest way you can support this project. Thank you very much once again. I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as we continue to monitor price action. And don't forget to be part of the XAUUSD live window as we resume today to take in fresh new position on the XAUUSD. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye bye.